that a little bit underneath.
Will that be okay?
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
rather have a tiny muffle than...
Okay. Off? Yep.
You do it? Or
Yeah, I got it. Ooh. It's nice.
He actually took that from me. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'll stick another one on you.
Yeah.
Don't you love that?
Is this a...
wireless? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to broadcast live if that's all right.
Yeah.
No pressure.
I'm like a huge fan of these mics, man.
Do you have ID on the folks yet?
No.
Not rolling.
Nope. No, we do not. Emmy, as you guys saw, transported them to the medical examiner's office, so we're hoping to hear back from them soon. We were going to be extra careful with that. So no, I do not have the names yet. I could have the names on the release tonight or this evening. I just don't know yet.
Okay.
If I don't, obviously you guys can check with me tomorrow or as we continue going.
Okay, you're recording? You guys ready?
Yes,
Yep.
ready.
Okay. First of all, what do you know? How did this start? Do you know?
You want me to start with first and last name?
Yeah,
Hunter McKee, Hunter McKee, Public Information Manager with the OSBI. So what we have learned, obviously the OSBI is involved today because we were requested to investigate a officer-involved shooting that happened just on the other side of I-44 here behind me this morning. The OSBI was requested by the Miami Police Department as well as the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office to investigate this officer-involved shooting. What we have learned of how this transpired is that early this morning, the Joplin Police Department notified the Quapaw Marshal Service that there was a stolen vehicle from the Joplin area that, through their investigative leads, determined was here in town. Was actually at the casino just north of here, right on the Missouri, Kansas-Oklahoma border up there in the corner. The Quapaw Marshal Service checked that casino. They did identify that vehicle that the Joplin Police Department wanted them to check. When the Quapaw Marshal Service attempted to make contact with that stolen vehicle, the vehicle did not abide by those commands and a pursuit ensued. While the Quapaw Marshal Service continued that pursuit, the Miami Police Department, as well as the Miami Tribal Police Department and the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office assisted in that pursuit. Eventually, as that pursuit continued, the suspect vehicle, it was a male driver with a female adult passenger with him inside of the vehicle. At some point during the pursuit, the male driver brandished a firearm, which law enforcement did see at that time. As the male driver continued, he pulled into this parking lot here, which we are standing in now, exited, went on to the on-ramp here behind me, and then came back on. And so this suspect was driving eastbound in the westbound lanes along I-44 here. Eventually, law enforcement did a good job of blocking off I-44 at that time, so there was not a lot of oncoming traffic. Because they had I-44 blocked off, the suspect vehicle did stop along I-44 here. That male driver, as well as the female passenger, got out of the vehicle, exited, and made their way on the other side of the ramp here on I-44. All the law enforcement, the 4 agencies that assisted with that pursuit, obviously provided commands to the suspect, who was still in possession of a firearm at that time. The suspect did not abide by law enforcement officers' commands. Thus, a officer-involved shooting did occur at that time. Once that officer-involved shooting was done at that point, it was determined that the male and the female were both determined deceased on scene, and both had suffered from apparent gunshot wounds at that time. None of the officers were hurt. There was no one else hurt at that time. Right now, we don't have the identities of the suspect driver and the female passenger. We are still working on next of kin at this time and still working through that process. The exact relationship of these two, what they were doing up until that pursuit, what they were doing in the stolen vehicle, we're not only working with local law enforcement here in Miami, but we're working with the Joplin Police Department too. So there's still a lot of unanswered questions in terms of the suspect as well as the female passenger. We're hopeful to have that soon. I know that there's been a lot of questions about, about why she was there. Again, we're still looking into that. From our understanding, there's no verification that this was a hostage situation at this time. Again, that's still something we are piecing together. If that changes, we'll certainly let people know, but that is not something that has been identified as OSBI has looked into this so far. So at this time, obviously, very sad story. We do have 2 people who are deceased, but when we're talking about I-44 and this pursuit that went through town here, we're very fortunate that no one else was hurt, that there was no other drivers hurt, and that none of the law enforcement was hurt either. So at this time, OSBI is still processing the scene, still talking to other witnesses, still working with the Joplin Police Department, the Miami Police Department, the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office, and so we're all working together to try to learn more about why this occurred today. But that's what has transpired, that's what we know so far, and obviously this will be ongoing investigation.
Do you know we've heard about shots being fired while they were in pursuit? Do you know if the gunfire was exchanged?
We're still looking into that. What we can verify and what we've been able to identify is that the male suspect driver did brandish a firearm. If there were shots fired, we're working with law enforcement, a part of that pursuit. We haven't been able to verify that yet, but we are working to see if there were shots fired.
Once the couple got out of the vehicle, did they brandish a weapon or point it at officers?
So we're still looking at the officer's body cam right now. We do know that when the suspect driver and the female exited the vehicle, that he was still holding and in possession of that firearm. Where he pointed it exactly, we're still looking into that.
What kind of firearm? Handgun, long gun?
We can't go into that yet.
So you can keep looking at it there.
Yeah.
So they jumped over the wall and shots were fired again at the tree line?
No. So there was not an officer-involved shooting on this side of I-44. The suspect vehicle had stopped on this side, eastbound on the westbound lanes, hopped into the eastbound lanes, or of course, when I say hop, just went over the wall there, the median, and then as law enforcement tried to make contact with them, provide commands, the suspect did not drop his weapon. Him and the female continued to back away, and then during that time is when the officer-involved shooting transpired. So there were no shots fired until the other side of I-44, of course, when law enforcement provided commands and the suspect did not drop his weapon.
Was traffic still flowing on the opposite side of I-44?
No. So law enforcement, again, did a tremendous job of blocking off traffic on both sides, which, again, very fortunate. So there were no drivers going by when that officer-involved shooting occurred.
I've seen the ATF with K9. What were they doing? What was the K9 doing?
Just processing the scene, just another hand. Yeah, I mean, obviously whenever you're involved in an officer-involved shooting, we want to take every precaution we can and use all the resources we have to find out what exactly, occurred at that point, and talking with officers and K9s, OSBI crime scene unit has a lot of tools they use, and so the Pharaoh, of course, was out here as well. So just doing our normal protocols.
Medical examiner here, Hearst is left.
Right. So from here, both of the deceased individuals have been transported to the medical examiner's office. The medical examiner's office will provide a proper identification of both the deceased people. And so we should be able to get that report, learn a little bit more from the ME's office. When that identification is made and next of kin is notified, obviously we'll provide the names of both these individuals.
And there was a lot of talk on Facebook. People were just, and social media in general, people were concerned, is there any risk at all? Is just
No.
the two suspects right here?
Correct. There is no one else involved. There was no one else involved in that pursuit. The suspect vehicle that Joplin was looking for was obviously a part of this pursuit. No other vehicles, no other suspects involved. These were the only two.
I know there's been both sides of the coin on flock cameras, and what I heard, a flock camera played a part in identifying. To that part.
I can't, just because I haven't gone into that part with them yet. I know that they, obviously law enforcement have all kinds of resources now where they can track down and identify vehicles, and so I'm sure they used all those resources. You know, we'll have a press release later this evening, and we might have a little bit more about that.
Approximate age of these two people?
Adults, I don't have exact ages yet.
Okay. Anything else?
Thank you,
That's
Hunter.
it. That's it. Obviously, track our Facebook. We'll post there if there's any updates.
Awesome.
So-
We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks for driving all this way.
Yep.
I will say, this is something you just normally don't see, though.
Anything more on Pitcher coming up?
No, not that I've heard of. No. Were you at that?